2026, she has been absolutely relentless. 22 wins, 7 losses, 3 finals, 1 title already banked in Auckland back in January. And somewhere along the way, she picked up 2 wins over the exact same woman she is about to face on Saturday. This final has everything: experience against youth, momentum against legacy, and a head-to-head record that makes this more complicated than the betting lines suggest. Let's start with the numbers, because the numbers tell a story that a lot of people are sleeping on right now. Svitolina leads the all-time series between these two, 3 wins to 2. And the 2 most recent meetings? Both went to Svitolina, and they were not close in the worst moments. At the Australian Open earlier this year, she dismantled Gauff 6-1, 6-2. That is not a competitive loss. That is a statement. Then, a few weeks later in Dubai, Svitolina did it again. Took her in 3 sets, proving the first result was no fluke. Now, Gauff still owns the wins from 2024. She beat Svitolina at the US Open, came back from dropping the first set, and she did the same thing at the ASB Classic. So, the narrative of Gauff folding under pressure? That is simply not true. But right now, in 2026, on clay, heading into this specific final, the recent form belongs to Svitolina, and that matters more than people realize. Here is what makes Svitolina so dangerous on this surface in particular. She is a perfect 7-0 in WTA clay court finals. 7-0. Not a single loss. She knows how to close on red clay. She knows how to manage the grind of a final, the mental weight of it, the physical demands of best of 3 on a slow surface when rallies stretch into the 20s. She has done it before, including winning this exact tournament twice, the last time back in 2018. And after beating Elena Svitolina and then dismantling IGA Swiatek in the semifinals, Swiatek, who owns clay like a second home, Svitolina is walking into Saturday with genuine confidence and a very specific game plan already forming in her head. She said it herself after that semifinal win. She is going to rewatch her last match against Gauff. She is going to study the tactics. She knows Gauff's game at a deep level at this point, the angles, the patterns, where the margins live. This is not a player showing up and hoping. This is a player who has done this before, who is building towards something intentional. But let's not underestimate what Coco Gauff has done to get here, because her path through this draw was not easy either. She dropped sets to Solana Sierra. She had to dig deep against Iva Jovic in the 4th round. She beat Mira Andreeva, one of the most dangerous young players in the world right now, in the quarterfinals, winning the last 2 sets after dropping the opener. And then she handled Sorana Cîrstea in straight sets in the semis, looking composed and locked in. That is tournament tennis. That is building form round by round, and by the time she walks out Saturday, she will have 5 matches of clay court momentum behind her. There is also the record she just broke: most wins at a clay court WTA 1000 event before the age of 23. 34 victories. She passed a milestone that no other player has hit that young on the surface, and she did it right here in Rome. That is not coincidence. That is someone who belongs on clay, who has developed a genuine affinity for the surface that was once considered a weakness in her game. Gauff talked after the Cîrstea win about the direction of her tennis. She said she still has things to fine-tune, but that the trajectory is right. That kind of self-awareness, knowing you are not perfect, but trusting the process, is exactly what you want to hear from a player heading into a major final. Now, to the betting side, because this is where it gets interesting. Fanatics Sportsbook has Gauff as the favorite at -160 on the money line. Svitolina comes back at +130. Given everything we just laid out, Svitolina's clay final record, her 2 head-to-head wins this year, the fact that she just beat the number 2 and number 4 seeds in back-to-back rounds, that +130 looks like real value. The market respects Gauff's ranking and her overall ceiling, but the recent form and surface-specific data points toward this being much closer than 160 suggests. On the total sets, the line is sitting at 2.5 with heavy juice on the under at -170. 3 out of their last 4 meetings have gone to 3 sets. If your read on this match is competitive and based on everything in the data, it should be, then the over at plus territory is the sharper play. These two know each other too well for a quick, clean finish. The total games line is 21.5 with juice on the over at -125. Given the history of long rallies, 3-set matches, and two players who grind rather than blow opponents off the court, the over feels supported here as well. And if you are looking at props, the first set odds have Gauff 6-3 at plus 500. That is the most likely individual set score, according to the market. Whether you play it or fade it, it gives you a framework for how the bookmakers see the early part of this match unfolding. The big picture here is this: Gauff versus Svitolina is genuinely unpredictable, and that is what makes it compelling. This is not a mismatch. This is not a coronation. This is two players with different peaks, different career arcs, and a head-to-head rivalry that has no clear dominant force over the full sample. The 2024 results say Gauff. The 2026 results say Svitolina. The clay final record says Svitolina. The trajectory and age curve say Gauff. Whoever wins, Saturday walks away with more than a trophy in Rome. A Gauff win cements her status as the undisputed queen of clay heading into the French Open. A Svitolina win writes one of the better comeback stories in the sport over the last 5 years. A player who left the tour, came back, rebuilt everything, and proved she could still beat the best in the world on the biggest stages. Saturday at the Foro Italico. Red clay. High stakes. Two of the best in the world. Watch every point.